Hello, everyone.
Good evening, Rav. How are you?
Hello. Baruch Hashem, and you, Louis.
Baruch Hashem, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm
Everyone
doing
well. Baruch
Yeah.
Hashem.
Yeah.
So nice to hear you all. So nice. Who's with us? I see Orna with us. I see Ronald with us. Good.
Good. And Marky is not there yet?
And I'm not sure, Mark. I'm just looking. No,
Mhm.
Mark's not with us still. I see Gabriel joining us now.
Good.
Good.
Lovely. We'll have a full house.
We'll give another few minutes for more people to join us, and then we'll continue. I see Brian joining us. I see Stephen joining us.
Good. Wonderful.
Joining us. Let's just wait another few minutes to give them a chance for everyone to join us, and then we'll start the show.
Is Les not there to give us a rundown in Israel?
Okay, so Les, that's exactly. So Les, funny enough, is not in Israel. Les is, I think, in Greece. He sent me a message today. He's doing, Les is a great stamp collector, and he's in Greece for stamp affair. So he's right there in Greece. So you're not going to join us, not today and not on Sunday, because he's going to be in Greece until Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Good. Let's see how things going. Who's else with us? I see Brian with us. I see Shmuley now joining us. There's few more people joining us.
Good.
Yep. And then we'll start, Bezrat Hashem, we'll start the show. Just
Okay.
wait for more people, and then we'll start the show. Louis, are you ready on Parashat Beshalach?
Yes, I'm ready there. I'm waiting.
Okay. Let's just wait for most of the group to join.
Okay.
And then we'll start. Let me just see who's with us. Yeah, we have Shmuley with us. We have Ronald, Orna. I see Stephen. Hello, Shmuley. How are you? I see Brian share with us, Gabriel with us. Okay, so let's start the show. Yeah, I see that Ivan joining. Let me just admit him. That's okay. Okay, so Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach v'Hashem aleinu b'rachamav yarviach. We're gonna dedicate the show לעילוי נשמת אסתר קדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, הרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, תמר בת זהבה, רחל בת מלכה סולטנה, יעקב סלומון בן פרחה, ודבורה רות בת בילה, וחיים אליהו בן ישעיהו. Also, we're going to dedicate the show לרפואה, in health of ליאורה בת מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, אורנה בלומה בת מרים, הרב אברהם בן מרינה, רב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, הינוקה, רבי הרב משה בן דבורה, איתן בן הדסה, ישראל בן זיסה, מרדכי דוד בן לאה, דבורה בת אסתר, שרה דבורה בת אלקה, צדוק בן שרה, שולמית בת חיה שינה לאה, אריה בן גיטול ושרה רבקה בת יהודית. Please God, רפואה שלמה So now I'm gonna mute everyone. To your permission, I'm muting everyone, and we're gonna start the show. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. פרשת Vayishlach. Let's do the introduction like we always do to prepare us for the parsha, so we'll know what the parsha is about. In the year 2205 from the creation, straight after that, Yaakov Avinu and all of his family leave Haran. After they left Haran, immediately they're meeting with who? With Esav Rasha, that come towards them with 400 people. He bring in 400 people. After that, Yaakov Avinu show Esav, his brother, his family. Obviously, he showed all the flock, all the servant that he had, and etc. Yaakov Avinu actually given an offering, a special offering to Esav, his brother. And the offering come to the amount of 550, if you counted goats, sheep, and cattle. Obviously, they're hugging each other. We'll speak about it in the show. Esav asked Yaakov to join him to come to his land, to Eretz Seir, Eretz Dom. Yaakov Avinu explained to Esav that the children and the flock cannot walk as fast as he and his 400 men, and let them continue, and they go to their own, and they will continue. Yaakov Avinu continued in his way from Haran, and he was, by the way, took him 2 years after he left Haran to reach to the house of his father. Okay, where did he arrive? He arrived in the city of Shechem, and in the city of Shechem, we know what happened, that Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov Avinu and Leah, been taken by force by Shechem ben Hamor. Okay, and we know that after that, the entire city of Shechem made a Brit Milah, and Shimon and Levy on the third day actually killed all the male. We'll speak about it, Be'ezrat Hashem in the show. Continually, on the way to Hebron, we see something very interesting, that Rachel Imenu died when she delivered Binyamin, just before she delivered Binyamin, and she was in the age of 37, very young. In the year 2208 from the creation, Yaakov Avinu actually arrived to the house of his father and his mother Yitzhak and Rivka Imenu, and he was in the age of 100. Yaakov Avinu actually after that received his name Israel. We know that the Kadosh Baruch Hu said to him Israel, and before that also the angel of Yaakov, when he fight with him, he given him the name of Israel. Yitzhak Avinu died in the age of 180, and Yaakov Avinu and Esav bearing him in Ma'arat HaMachpelah. The words just before the end of the Parsha, the Torah actually details to us the descendants of Esav Rasha and him and all the king that came from his descendants. That's a quick, brief introduction to the Parsha, so we'll know what's happening in a Parsha. Now we're going to start the Parsha. Louis, don't forget to unmute yourself. Vayishlach Yaakov melachim lefanav el Esav achiv arsat Seir tzde Edom.
Then Jacob sent angels ahead of him to Esau, his brother, to the land of Syria, the field of Edom.
Okay, here we see that the Torah tells us that Yaakov Avinu sent angels, okay, to Esav, his brother, to tell him to the land of Seir, Tzde Edom, okay, to tell them that, a matter of fact, listen, I'm leaving Haran and I'm coming back after 20 years in exiles. And I saw a beautiful question that the Zohar HaKadosh on our Parsha in page 166, folio 1, ask in the Zohar, Rabbi Abba. Rabbi Abba, he was the student of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he wrote for him the Zohar. That means Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai dictate to Rabbi Abba what to write, and he wrote the Zohar. And he said like this, Rabbi Abba asked a very valid question. Isn't it better that Esav would keep quiet and wouldn't say a word and leave it like this, and he will walk to Eretz Israel and ignore Esav? Okay? Why did Yaakov Avinu, a matter of fact, have to send angels to let Esav know that he's starting to march towards Eretz Canaan, that means towards Hebron, that way was Yitzhak Avinu. Why is it? Why does he want to wake up the devil? Rather leave the devil and walk. Don't say anything. That's the question of Rabbi Abba. And I mean, in fact, from here we can learn a lot of chokhmah. And Rabbi Abba says something very interesting. Rabbi Abba come to teach us something very, very important, a very fundamental principle in life. And he said like this, that he knew that Yaakov, that Esav Rasha, respected his father. And a matter of fact, listen to that, the Zohar say that Esav never made his father angry in his life. Look at the kibud orim that Esav have. That Esav never upset and make his father angry. It's beyond understanding. Say Yaakov Avinu, in that case, it's better for me to do peace now after 20 years that was in exile. 20 years I was in exile, obviously Esav is a bit more not as cross as he was. Maybe now Esav not gonna be so cross. And also, as long that my father is still alive, if I make peace with him, there's a better chance. Why? Because as long as my father is alive, he will never upset him. And if he will never upset him, there's a better chance that we will come to kind of the agreement, a peace, and will be no problem. And that's why, say Rabbi Abba, why Yaakov Avinu decide to send the angels to Esav Rasha. Rabbi Avraham Saba. Rabbi Avraham Saba, we quote him many times, born in a city of Castilla in Spain. He born 581 years ago. And he wrote the famous book, Tzror Amor. We explain that his married, his daughter married the Marana Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo's son. So him, and when I say him, Rabbi Avraham Saba and Rabbi Yosef Karo, Rabbi Yitzhak Karo, was Rabbi Yosef Karo. Sorry, not Yitzhak Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo was Mehutan. And he wrote a book that's called Tzror Amor. And he said, you know why Esav, when Yaakov gone, he called Esav to tell him that he's coming, to warn him. He said that if you look at the Yerushalmi, the Gemara in Yerushalmi in Masechet Ta'anit, Hazal in the Gemara tell us in chapter 3, Halacha Vav, that means law number 6. Hazal tell us, Ukiru la'asaychu ad delo dittarich le. What does it mean? Hazal tell us that you should respect the doctor before you're going to need him. What does it mean? That when you respect the doctor and you speak to him nicely and you treat him nicely, one day when you're going to need the doctor, okay, the doctor will treat you differently than what he treats others. That's mean. Tell us, Hazal, something very interesting. Hazal tell us that when you want to wake up someone, how do you do that? What do you do? The first thing, you respect them nicely, you speak to them nicely, you approach them. By that, you wake up his heart. That means you're opening his heart. That means that next time that you will need him, he will wake up and he's open his heart for you. So that's the two ideas. Why did Yaakov Avinu decide that after he leave Haran, to tell Esav that he's coming and not to ignore him? Okay? But the famous question that we have to ask, it says, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim, angels, lefanav, in the front of him. First of all, we have to understand where those angels come. Rashi HaKadosh said, malachim mamash, real angel. What do you mean real angel? So I saw a commentary, a beautiful commentary of Rabbi Azariah Mipigio. Rabbi Azariah Mipigio, born in the city of Venice in Italy. He born 442 years ago, and he wrote the book Bina Laitim, very famous book. Okay, in Drush Bet on our Parsha, he explained that the matter of fact, Yaakov have two types of angel that stood to serve him. The angels that HaKadosh Baruch Hu that sent from heaven to guard him, to walk with him. As Rashi explained in a previous parasha, in Parashat Vayetze, was V'nitzeh Olim Ve'yordim. There Chazal explained that the angel that left Eretz Israel, they gone up to heaven, and Malachei Chutz La'aretz Yordim. That means the angel of the diaspora coming down to welcome him. So we see from here that two kind or two type of angel came to accompany and to guard Yaakov Avinu. But Yaakov Avinu then decided that he's going to take only one kind. Who they are? Say Rabbi Azariah Mipigio, he decided to take the angel that he creates from his mitzvot and a good deed, those the angel that he going to send to who? To Esav Rasha. That's me. Listen to that. Was two different type of angels that walk and guard Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu can use any one of them as a servant. Yaakov Avinu decided not to use the servant as a servant, the angel from heaven. And Chazal explained, one sharvito shel melech, that means that it's not nice to use the angel that HaKadosh Baruch Hu used. So Yaakov Avinu was very humble. Which angel he sent? He sent the angel that he created himself from his own mitzvot. Okay, that's fine. Now comes the question, angel. And many of the Mefarshim ask that. What does it mean, Malachim Mamash? Remember we say that Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, just again, he born in the city of Troyes in the north of France. Okay, Rashi HaKadosh born 981 years ago. What did Rashi try to tell us? Malachim Mamash. We understand that the angel, but there is something here. We have to understand why did Yaakov Avinu decide to send angels? Send human being. Why don't send normal human being to go to speak to Esav, to tell him, listen, your brother Yaakov left Haran, and he's on the way to where? To Eretz Israel. No, Yaakov decided that he's not going to do that. What does he decide? He's going to send angel to Yaakov. We have to understand, why did Yaakov decide to use angel and not human being? You see, I always say that Rashi, when you read Rashi speak with codes. But to understand the depths of Rashi, you have to use the Mefarshim. Because it sounds, Malachim Mamash, okay, normal angel, we take it. But we have to understand what Rashi tried to teach us. Why did he say real angel? So I'm going to bring a few commentaries. The first commentary that I'm going to bring, that is going to be the commentary of Rabbi Buna Mipashischa. Rabbi Buna Mipashischa born in Poland 256 years ago. And he said on a pshat of the Dvarim to teach us that from here you learn from that Yaakov Avinu used angel. If a person is a righteous man, and for some reason he reached to die straight, or he have problem, or he's in sorrows, if he can use angels, he's allowed to use angel. Okay? And if he need to use angel to help him, there's no problem even to bother the angel to help him. What does that mean? We have to understand what does all of that mean. So I saw a beautiful commentary of Rabbi Menachem ben Meir Eisenstadt. He born in Ukraine around 203 years ago. And in his book, Chomat HaEsh, okay, the wall of fire, What did he say? He said like this. He bring actually what Hazal tell us in a Mishnah in Masechet Avot. Hazal in a Mishnah in Masechet Avot in chapter 1, Mishnah 7. Listen what Hazal say. התרחק משכן רע ואל תתחבר לרשע. That means that keep away from a bad neighbor and do not be a friendly with a wicked person. That's what the Mishnah in Masechet Avot say. Say Rabbi Meir Me'ayin Yaakov Avinu was worried to send human being to Esav. Why? Because Yaakov Avinu was worried, what is those people, what is going to be the effect being with Esav Rasha in the land of where Esav lived, the influence that has v'shalom that those wicked people can influence the people that he will send. That means that the main reason, say Rabbi Meir Me'ayin that Yaakov Avinu didn't want to sell human being because it will be, God forbid, the influence of Esav and the people of his land, the people where he lived, that they can influence those human beings that he will send negatively. Therefore, say Yaakov Avinu, I'd rather send angel. Why? Because human being cannot influence on an angel. I saw another commentary that brought by Rabbi Chaim ben Atar. Rabbi Chaim ben Atar, we quote him quite often in our Sheol. He born in the city of Sali in Morocco. He born 325 years ago. And in his book, Or HaChaim HaKadosh, he explained that the main reason that Yaakov Avinu used angel and not human being, because if he would send normal human being, because Esav was such a great man, he was the head of Edom, the leader of Edom. He wouldn't look at normal human being on Pshat of the Dvar. Not only that, he will ignore him. He wouldn't take them seriously. Say Rabbi Chaim ben Atar, not only that, you know why also he sent angels? Because if he would send angels, if he would send human beings, they can never read what in the heart of Esav. Only an angel can see what Esav planning. Is Esav planning for war, or Esav planning to come in the name of peace? So we see from here different ideas. Why did Yaakov Avinu use angel? And from here we can learn a Musa, we can learn a great Musa. That when a person can be righteous, as much that he thinks that he's righteous, and even if he's really righteous, we have to learn from Yaakov Avinu that you cannot rely on a miracle. Lo somchim al hanes. You cannot rely on miracles. A person has to do ishtadlut atzmit. He must do first whatever he can have in his own capacity for everything. A person can't wait and think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make miracle for him. That will never work. And we learn that from here, that Yaakov Avinu, Bahir Sheba'avot, the chosen among the forefathers, dan ishtadlut. How much us as human beings we have to do ishtadlut. And everything in life. We mustn't go mad, but we have to do ishtadlut. Miracle doesn't come. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do miracles especially not to us. So if Yaakov Avinu, that was the chosen amongst the fathers, dan ishtadlut atzmit, how much we have to do. That's the message about the angel in the first verse. Let's move to verse to verse 8. Louis going to verse 8. And in verse 8 it says like this: וירא יעקב מאוד, וייצר לו, ויחץ את העם אשר איתו, ואת הצאן, ואת הבקר, והגמלים, לשני מחנות.
And Jacob became very frightened distressed him. So he decided the people with him and the flocks, cattle, and the camels into two camps.
Rabotai, here the Torah tells us that Yaakov Avinu was stressed. Not only that he's stressed, he was in fear. And we have to understand, why did Yaakov Avinu was stressed and fear? Because in a previous parsha, in Parashat Vayetze, in chapter 28, in verse 15, okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Yaakov Avinu, and it said like this, Hinei anochi imcha, ushmarticha bechol asher telech. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Yaakov Avinu, I'm with you, and I will guard you wherever you will walk. V'shavticha el ha'adama hazot. That means I will return you to that land, okay? Ki lo ezveka, and I will never leave you. And immediately all the mefarshim, especially that's the question that had been asked in Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 98, folio 2. Hazal asked, I don't understand. Yaakov Avinu, what are you worried? What are you stressed? HaKadosh Baruch Hu already promised you when you left Beersheba that he will be with you, he will guard you, he will never leave you for a second. So what are you worried? What are you worried? That's Chazal question in the Gemara. Remember, Masechet Sanhedrin, Tzadik Het Amud Bet. That means 98, folio 2. Chazal there answering, Chazal in the Gemara answering, listen what he said, Shehaya mityare, Shema yigrom het. Chazal answering, I'm going to translate, that he was worried that might he sin. And that's mean. That we have to understand what does it mean. When Yaakov Avinu left Beersheba, it was 20 years ago. Why? Yaakov Avinu worked for each woman 7 years. And then he worked another 6 years, okay? Where? For Laban, we know. So he was 20 years in the house of Laban. Now he decided to leave and to come back 20 years. So he was worried. Listen, that's Yaakov Avinu, that he might done something wrong. He might sin. And because he sinned, the promise that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given him might gonna change. That means because his deeds, because his behavior, because the way that he acts, maybe he doesn't have any more the guardians of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what he was worried. That's how Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin. But I saw a beautiful commentary that brought, listen to that, that brought by Yonatan ben Oziel. Who was Yonatan ben Oziel? Yonatan ben Oziel wrote a commentary on our Torah in Aramaic. Yonatan ben Oziel was the student of Hillel. He lived tens of years just before the destruction of the Second Temple. And he said like this, ודחילי יעקב לחדה על דלא עסיק 20 שנים ביקרא דאבוה ועקת לה ופליגית לעמה. What does it mean? Say Yonatan ben Oziel, you know what he was worried? Yaakov Avinu was worried for 20 years. He wasn't with his father. He didn't have the merit of the mitzvah of Kibud Horim. And Esav, all of those 20 years, was with his father. So he had the mitzvah of Kibud Horim. So Yaakov Avinu was worried that Has v'Shalom, maybe that he didn't done Kibud Horim will stand against you as a Havera. It will stand against him, as a Havera. So what did Yaakov Avinu decide to do? He was worried. Say Hazan, that from here you learn something very important. People go to rabbis, get a brocha, and the rabbi tell them, listen, you are blessed, everything good. A few years later, they see that things not working as the rabbi promised him. I'm talking about a proper rabbi. I'm not talking about what we call it babot. Babot is a bubot. It means rabbis that promise, they want money before anything. We're talking about proper rabbi. And I always warn you, if you go into a rabbi and the rabbi asks for money, run away. Don't walk away, run away. So sometimes we go to a rabbi. Rabbi, give me a brocha. And the rabbi give you a brocha, and the rabbi bless you, and he give you all the best, all of his wishes. But a few years later, a year later, a few months later, whatever, ching chang. And a person start thinking, listen, but the rabbi bless me, this blah, 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 blah. Yes, when he blessed you, you was on a different level. Maybe after you left him, your deeds wasn't so good. Your behavior wasn't so good. So all of those didn't stand for you. So how you expect that the brocha of a rabbi will stand for so long? That's what Yaakov Avinu come to teach us. The message here that people sometimes think that they have a guarantee for life. In life, there is no guarantee. Yaakov Avinu, Bahir Sheba'avot, come to teach us, number one, we explain to do Ishtadlut Atzmit. Number two, that you must never look at yourself as a righteous person. Yaakov Avinu was worried that because 20 years he wasn't with his with his father and his mother, he didn't have Kibud Orim. And say Yonatan bin Uziel, that's what he was worried that Has v'Shalom will consider as Avera for him. And from the other way, because Yasav was with them, it will consider as a mitzvah to them. And that mitzvah will stand for Esav if he decide to come to war, and Has v'Shalom, he can kill him. So from here, we learn something very important. A person can never trust himself. A person all the time have to look at himself 50-50, as Hazal say, all the time. Why? That when you look at yourself 50-50, you all the time have to do more mitzvot. You have to do more and more and more mitzvot, and that can help you to become a tzaddik. And that deeds, the good deeds, and the mitzvot that you do can change the decree. That's what Yaakov Avinu come to teach us in that verse. Let's move on to verse 11. Verse 11, yeah. And look what it says here. Katonti mikol hasadim umikol haemet asher asita et avdecha ki bemakli avarti et hayarden hazeh ve'ata hayiti lishne machanot.
I have been diminished by all the kindness and by all the truth that you have done. Your servant, for with my staff I crossed this Jordan, and I now have become two camps.
Okay, here the Torah tells us, Ki bemakli avarti et hayarden. With my stick across the Jordan Valley. We have to understand, many of the Mefarshim ask, and I saw that question. I saw it actually, that question, I have to say, I saw it in a book of Harav Ben Zion Chafi, Doresh Tzion, on Parashat HaShavua, and he bringing Harav Yitzhak Ben Yehuda Levy. Harav Yitzhak Ben Yehuda Levy born in the 13th century. It's not well known exactly when. He born in France. Exactly where and when, it's not sure. And he wrote a book called Ta'anach Raza. Okay, and in his book, he said, wait one second, I don't understand. What's happening here? We know that the Midrash tells us that Yaakov Avinu was such a strong man that he picked up himself the stone above the well that usually take at least 10 or 20 shepherds to lift up this stone that was on the well. Here came Yaakov and picked it up and put it on a side. So Yaakov Avinu was a strong man. Why did Yaakov Avinu need a stick to walk? Yaakov Avinu wasn't an old man that he needed a stick. Listen to that, how we answer. Say, Rabbi Yitzhak ben Yehuda Levy, he said, you mustn't think that the age here play a major role. No. That stick, there is a secret to it. That stick wasn't a normal stick. That stick that Yaakov Avinu had, he was hollow in the middle. And from heaven, listen to that, from heaven, they fill it up with oil. That means that the oil was inside the stick. And I'm going to connect it to Hanukkah just now, you'll see. He said that every time that Yaakov Avinu was on his journey, wherever he gone, and he needed to learn Torah, what has he done? He poured from that stick, the oil that was inside, into a jar, and he used to light it and can study Torah. That means that Yaakov Avinu have a stick that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given him that was full with oil. Okay? And say Rabbi Yitzhak ben Yehuda Levy, he said the same oil that Yaakov Avinu used from the same oil later on Elisha, the prophet Elisha, okay, make the miracle in the house with the wife of Obadiah Navi. That he said to her, from that little oil, it will never finish. That little oil that she got from Elisha, never finished. Not only that, that from the same oil, listen to that, Rabotai, say Rabbi Yitzhak ben Yehuda Levi, that the little jar that been found during the time of the Hashmonaim, the little jar that they light from at the menorah, that jar was the oil from the same stick of Yaakov Avinu. And Hazal in Midrash Rabbah come and tell us a secret about this oil. In Midrash Rabbah on Sefer Bereshit, in chapter 35, Hazal tell us something very interesting. Listen what Hazal said. There's a bit of a noise in the back. I need to mute. 1 second. I'm going to mute everyone. Okay, muted. Okay. So Hazal in Midrash Rabbah on Sefer Bereshit, in chapter 35, said that oil will be forever. It will never finish, even after the resurrection of the dead. Can you believe it? That oil that Yaakov Avinu have in that special stick will stay also after the resurrection of the dead. And that's what it says, ki b'makli avarti hayarden hazeh. What does it mean? That Yaakov Avinu said that inside this special stick that you see, that you think that it's a normal. No, that stick have a special oil. That with that oil, I study Torah. With that oil, many miracles will happen later on. Let's continue. And now we're going to rejoin this parsha a little bit to Hanukkah. In verse 25, let's go to verse 25, and the Torah tells us, ויוותר יעקב לבדו ויאבק איש עמו עד עלות השחר.
Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn.
Okay. Here the Torah tells us that Yaakov Avinu stay himself, we'll explain now, and a man fight with him. Who was that man? We know it was the angel of Isaac. What's happening here? Rashi HaKadosh actually bringing the Gemara in Masechet Hulin in page 91, folio 1, that they say, you know what's happening here? Rashi say, and he bring in the Gemara, Hazal tell us that Yaakov Avinu, after he crossed Ma'avar Yabok, after he crossed the valley of Yabok, he returned back. After he crossed with all of his family, he returned by himself back to collect little jar, little jar. And all the Mefarshim and the Gemara there, Hazal asked, Yaakov Avinu, how do you put yourself in danger at night? And you go by yourself to collect little jar. What's so special about those little jar that you go? So I'm going to bring the tirutz of Hazal and the Gemara, what Hazal and the Gemara answer, but that's the pshat of the dvarim. We're going to depth just now. Hazal and the Gemara in page 91, folio 2, say like this. What do they say? Mikan letzadikim. From here you learn that the tzadikim, Haviv alehem mamonam yoter migufam. That means that the tzadik love his money more than his body. We'll explain just now. V'kol kach lama, and all of that, why? Hazal say in the Gemara, lefi she'en poshtim yadeim bagezer. Hazal say that the tzaddik loves the money and more than his body. Why? Hazal answer. The reason that they love the money that they have, because they don't steal. And whatever they have, they appreciate. It's come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they have a lot of appreciation to it, and they want to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so they don't treat it just like another thing. So everything that they get, they have a lot of respect, and there are a lot of appreciation for everything that they get from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's Hazal and Gemara in Masechet Chulim 92, folio 2. Okay? But to understand that in depth, I saw beautiful two commentaries. The first one is Rabbi David Pardo. Rabbi David Pardo, born in the city of Venice in Italy. He born 303 years ago. He wrote a book, Maskil David. And he there says something very interesting. Listen to that. As a matter of fact, that the main reason that Yaakov Avinu put himself in danger and returned back to collect the jars, because in one of the jars was oil that he took an oath on it, and he donated, okay, to what? To fulfill the neder that he took on himself to anoint on the top of the matzeva, the tombstone, to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that for all the miracle that he done to him. Why? Because he said that if you save me from my brother Esav, okay, so on that matzeva that they built, he wanted to anoint it. That's mean that that little jar of oil have a kedusha on it. Why? Because it's become a hekdesh. Yaakov took an oath that he's going to give it to hekdesh. Yaakov Avinu was so frightened that Chas v'Shalom, someone else will get hold of it, okay? That if someone else will get hold of it, he used hekdesh, and then they're going to be in chorus. Yaakov Avinu didn't want anyone, Chas v'Shalom, to get hold of it. Immediately he returned and took it. And that's why he put himself in danger. That was so important about the oil. That means that oil already become a hekdesh. Why? Because he took a neder. And to fill up his neder, his oath, you have to anoint the matzeva. Okay, that's. I saw another beautiful commentary that brought the Maharshal. The Maharshal is Rabbi Shlomo Luria. Rabbi Shlomo Luria, born in a city of Brisk in Lita. He born 511 years ago. He was the uncle of the famous Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi. So the Maharshal, Rabbi Shlomo Luria, was his uncle. Okay? And he said, he agreed with what Rabbi David Pardo said, but he added up something else. And he said like this. He said by that Yaakov Avinu was willing to put himself in danger, okay, and to go by himself to cross again Ma'avar Yabok, to collect those jars with the oil. That's that sign, and that initiative that Yaakov Avinu done, that's kind of act. That what stood later on to his son in a time of the Hashmonaim, that they can light the menorah from that jar of oil. That's mean by that Yaakov Avinu crossed the Yabok Valley again. That's what caused the miracle that we see in Hanukkah in a merit of Yaakov Avinu. That was Yaakov Avinu. So said the Maharshal Rabbi Shlomo Luria, not only that oil was Hekdesh, but by that Yaakov Avinu returned back to collect the oil, that act, fundamental act, stood later on, many years later, for his children in a time of the Hashmonaim, that they found a little jar and they will light with that the menorah. So now we can understand why did Yaakov Avinu return to collect little jar. Let's continue, and now I'm going to chapter 33, Louis chapter 33, verse 4. And in chapter 33, verse 4, it says something very interesting. וירוץ עשיו לקראתו, ויחבקהו, ויפול על צוואריו, וישקהו, ויבכו. Louis? Louis, are you with us? I don't know where is Louis disappeared, but let's continue. Here the Torah tells us that Esav ran towards Yaakov Avinu, and he hugged him, and they fall one on top of each other's shoulder, and it says Vayishlach, and Esav kissed Yaakov. Okay, and then the cry. The point is, it said Vayishlach, and if you look at top of the word Vayishlach, there's many dots. And many of the Mefarshim ask what's happening here. Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim, that we always bring him, because he's a major important commentary on the Torah, is one of the Ruach HaKodesh. And I explained before that all of his commentary on the Torah he wrote in one night. He born in Germany 751 years ago. He said, you know why there is a lot of dots on the word Vayishlach in the Humashim? It's come to tell you that Esav was planning to bite Yaakov Avinu. And we all know the Midrash. The Midrash said that Esav wanted to bite the neck of Yaakov Avinu. The Kadosh Baruch Hu made miracle, and his neck turned to what? To a granite, and the Midrashim said that the teeth of Esav been broken. That's on the Midrash, on the Drash. But I saw a beautiful commentary that's been written by the Sfat Emet. Who was the Sfat Emet? The book Sfat Emet been written by Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Alter. He born in Poland 174 years ago. He was the third Rebbe of the Gur movement, the Hasidut Gur. And he says that, wait, I don't understand. The Torah tells us specifically Vayishlach, that he kissed him. Where does it hint? How did Hazal came to that? That they say that Esav wanted to bite Yaakov. I don't understand. The Torah tells us Vayishlach. Show me. Say Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Alter. Listen how he answered this. He said that for Yaakov Avinu, a kiss from a wicked person like Esav, this is a bite. That means that the Yaakov Avinu was so pure and so holy, and suddenly standing next to him, a person that completely impure, completely away from Yiddishkeit, a wicked person, and he will give a kiss and a hug For Yaakov Avinu, this is like someone that biting him. Why? Because the impurity that Esav have compared to the purity of Yaakov, Yaakov couldn't take it. Yaakov couldn't take it because Esav was impure. So for him to be hugged and to be kissed by a person like this is like someone biting him. That's how the Sfat Emet explained. So from here we learn something very important. He says like this: if you take the word neshika, neshika is a kiss, you write it like this: nun, shin, yud, kuf, hey. He said neshicha, that's a bite. How do you write the word neshicha? Nun, shin, yud, chaf, hey. That means that the difference between neshika, that it's a kiss, le neshicha, that's a bite, it's the letters kuf and kaf. That means it's all the pains who's in the front of you. If he's a wicked person, if that person is so impure, for a person like Yaakov Avinu that was Behir Sheba'avod, the chosen of the Father, to have next to him a person like Esav Rasha, a wicked person like Esav, that was full of tumah, full of impurity, that hug and kiss that he given him, it was like someone biting him. That's how the Sfat Emet explained. Now we can understand why there is a lot of dot on the top and how he got to that conclusion. Let's move to chapter 34. And in chapter 34, verse 23, here we're talking about what's happened in chapter 25, chapter 34, verse 25. Here the Torah speak about on the third day what Shimon and Levy done to the member of the city of Shechem. And it says like this: Vayehi bayom hashelishi be'yotam ko'avim vayikhu shne bnei Yaakov Shimon veLevi ahedina ish harbo v'yavo al ha'ir betach vayahargu kol zachar. Louis?
And it came to pass on the third day when they were in pain, and the two of Jacob's sons, Shimon and Levy, Dinah brothers, each took their sword and they came upon the city confidentially and killed every male.
Okay. The Torah tells us on the pshat of the Dvarim, we spoke about it many times, but today I'm going to try and bring a different chidush. That on the third day, what happened? Shimon and Levi killed the entire member of Shechem, all the male. And immediately many of the Mefarshim say, wait, 1 second. Oh. Shechem, the son of Hamor, he's the one that raped Dinah. Kill him. No. Shimon and Levi decide to kill the entire city. All the male in the city of Shechem. So to say, it's look like Shimon and Levi killed innocent people. That's the question of Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar. How can you kill all the city? You have a deal with Shechem ben Hamor, or with Shechem and Hamor and his father. Kill both of them. But to kill the entire city, what are you two doing? We have to understand it. So there is few ideas that I'm going to bring. There is here, from here, say Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar, that you learn two different things. There is din rodef, okay, and a din of a person that kidnapping a human being. That means a person that kidnap human being. Two different halachot. He said, number one, Shimon and Levi, when they came to kill, they really came to kill Shechem. And then his father Hamor came and he also tried to protect Shechem. What happened? when everything happened so quickly, the shouting starting, and the member of Shechem, the male, came to the rescue of Shechem and Hamor. Not only that they came to the rescue of Shechem, also his father Hamor they came to rescue. Not only that, they tried to attack who? Shimon and Levy. Chazal in the Mishnah in Masechet Sanhedrin in chapter 8, Mishnah Zayin explained that was here Din Rodef. What it means Din Rodef? When someone that you try to, a person that try to protect other people and try to kill you, you have a Rodef. What it means a Rodef? That a person that come to kill you, you must stand up to kill him immediately. Say Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, that when the member of Shechem tried not only to protect Shechem and his father Hamor, they also tried to attack who? Shimon and Levi. They have the right to kill him. Why? Because here we have the din of Rodef, and a din of Rodef, if a person have a din of Rodef, you're allowed to kill him. That's one answer. Another idea that bring the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Chazal tell us in a Gemara, that's in a Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, 57, folio 1, Chazal tell us like this, Ben Noach, shegazal et hanefesh, hayav mita. What it means, Ben Noach, shegazal et hanefesh, hayav mita? Say like this. Chazal in a Gemara tell us that a Gentile that kidnapped a human being obligated for a death, a punishment of death. Say Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, when it's come to Dinah, when Shechem done what he done, it wasn't only by himself. He needed the help of the member of his town. People help him to kidnap Dinah. People help him to do what he done. That's changed all the story. That means that the member of Shechem, the male of Shechem, help Hamor to do what he done. In that case, they all have one law. Gonev nefesh. Gonev nefesh, it's a kidnapping. A person that kidnapped, the punishment is death. So say Shimon and Levi, in that case, you, all of you member of Shechem, help Shechem. You help the son of the mayor, the son of the owner, the president, or the son of the king of Shechem. You help him to do what he done. In that case, you part of it that you kidnap a soul, and all of you now deserve the punishment of death. And that's why Shimon and Levi say, Rabbi Chaim ben Attar killed the entire male of Shechem. Why? Because there was all have two laws. Number one, din rodef. Number two, din of a kidnapper. And in that case, they all deserve to die. We now going to do the Haftarah because we're running late. Louis, just remember, we doing the Haftarah. The Haftarah that we're going to read is the Haftarah from Tre'asar, the prophet Obadiah. And he says something very interesting in verse 1. Listen what it says. Hazon Obadiah, Ko amar Adonai Elohim le'edom, shemoa shamarnu, me'et Adonai, utzir bagoyim shulah, kumu, venakuma alea lamilchama.
A vision of that, so says my Lord Hashem, Elohim, about Edom. We have heard tidings from Hashem and amongst the nations, and envoy has been sent. Arise, let us rise up against her and do battle.
We have to understand what the prophet tried to tell us here. Chazal explained like this. It's brought, I saw it, it's brought in a book of Rav Ovadia Yosef, Rav Ben Yom Chafi, Shalita, and he bring it, that he saw it in Tana Devei Eliyahu Zuta. That's a book that they call Tana Devei Eliyahu Zuta. Zuta, it means small, referring to who? To Eliyahu Hanavi. In chapter 19, it said, we all know the Midrash, when Yaakov Avinu and Esav, Rasha, was in a womb, and of their mother, they have a decision. Esav, Yaakov Avinu say, I will take the world to come, and you will take this world. You can benefit entirely from this world. And they agree. And many years later, when we saw the meeting between Esav and Yaakov, Esav looked at Yaakov and said to him, wait, you have a wife, you have kids, you have flock, you have servant. I see that you're benefiting from this world. That wasn't the deal. The deal was that you will benefit from the world to come. This world belongs to me. You're not allowed to benefit from it. Listen, we have to change the agreement. I want a half of your share, and you'll have a half of my share. What does it mean? That now that you got what you got, that means that you're benefiting from this world. I want to benefit also from the world to come. That's on a pshat of the Dvarim, what Tana Devei Eliyahu say, Tana Devei Eliyahu Zuta say in chapter 19. What's happening? He says, Shmu'a Shama'nu. We hear a rumor, okay? Me'et Hashem, from the Almighty. V'tzir bagoyim shulah. What does it mean, V'tzir bagoyim shulah? We have to understand that. Hazal in a Yerushalmi, in a Gemara, in Masechet Nedarim, chapter 3, law number 8. Hazal say that for the future, listen to that, Esav Rasha will wrap himself with the talis, like big righteous man, like and he will walk and he sit amongst all the righteous in Gan Eden. And suddenly the Kadosh Baruch Hu will come, and will pull him out of Gehenna, and he chased him away from Gan Eden, and he took him back to his place in Gehenna. And that's what the prophet said. Shmu'a Shama'nu, we hear that rumor from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'tzir bagoyim shulah, that one goy will be kicked out. Kicked out from where? Kicked out from Gan Eden. That's mean the prophet tell us already that will be a time that Esav Rasha will pretend to become one of the righteous people. And he will dress up like a righteous people. And he will come even to Gan Eden. And he will sit amongst the righteous in Gan Eden. He will try to benefit from that spiritual. But immediately will come a Kadosh Baruch Hu and will draw him out of Gan Eden and put him in the right place in Gehenna. That's what the prophet tried to tell us. Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to see it soon in our days. That's what we say every day in the Tehillah, in the Tefillah. ועלו מושעים בהר ציון לשפוט את עשיו, לשפוט את עשיו. והייתה להשם המלוכה. The kingdom will be to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to see it speedily in our days. We'll see the Mashiach coming and the building of Ted Bet HaMikdash speedily in our day. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. Anyone that have any question, Bechavod, you can unmute the microphone and you can ask a question regarding the Parsha. Bechavod.
Hello, it's Anthony. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, Antonio, how are you?
All right, thanks. Chapter
Yes,
35, verse 20. Jacob set up a monument over his grave, over her grave. It is the monument of Rachel's.
Whoa. Let me get there. I'm not
sorry,
there.
Sorry.
35?
35:20, verse 20.
35:20. Anthony, thank you. You think that I know all the Torah by heart? No, I don't. Thank you. Okay, 35:20. Okay, I'm going there. I'm almost there. 35:20. Yes. What's the
What
question?
is the Jacob set up a monument over her grave? It is the monument of Rachel's grave until today. What is this monument? What is the monument he set up?
So what does it say? Vayatzev Yaakov matzeva al kvorata hi matzevat kvorat Rachel ad hayom. What it means a monument? A monument that not only that you put a grave, you build like a house. If you look, when you go to certain grave, I hope that you don't have to go, please God, you'll never go. There is what they call it in English, they call it oil. A oil is a tent, like the oil of the Rabbi. When you go to the grave of the Rabbi, they make from it like a tent. What it means a tent? It's not really a tent. It's a monument that they built for him, and people come and daven there on his grave. That means that they build like a building, and that's the monument. It's not just a monument. It have a roof over it. It have walls. When you come, you can stand there and daven and pray that HaKadosh in the merit of that deceased, that he will daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu because he's such a righteous man, so he will listen to him, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu have a mercy and compassion on you. You follow? So the monument is what we call oil, a tent. You follow?
Thanks very much.
Pleasure. It's only my pleasure. Any other question? Rabota, anyone want to ask other question? Bechavod. Any question? No question. Okay. In that case, Rabotai, I would like to wish all of you a good night, a great Shabbos. The Rabbi Taylor, I believe that came from Israel, I heard today that he arrived. And Be'ezrat Hashem, on Shabbos, I hope that we all manage to see him, and we're all going to benefit from him, please God. He's going to be the new Rosh Yeshiva. I would like to take the opportunity just to ask Hilton. Hilton, it's the yacht side of our friend Hilton. Give me the name, Hilton. Just unmute yourself. Hilton, are you with us? No, I don't know. Hilton is not with us. I would like to dedicate the show also in memory of his late mother and to wish him, please God, arichut yamim, and may you never see any more sadness. In the meantime, Rabotai, have a good night, a great Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, and all the best to all of you. Hope to see you, please God, on Sunday. We'll continue regarding the series of Hanukkah Shorim Be'ezrat Hashem Bli Neder. In the meantime, good night and all the best to all of you. Thank you for joining us tonight. All the best.
Shabbat Shalom to you too. Shabbat Shalom.